Wapixana is a family of languages in northern Brazil and Guyana. It's part of the Arawakan family, the Maipuran branch called Northern Maipuran. Several of its relatives are still surviving, including Maipuran and the more well-known Caribbean Taino. Number of people in Wapixana heritage is over 10,000 in Guyana as of 2006, and in Brazil the number is estimated around 13,000 as of 2003. The people of Wapixana heritage are river traders, pioneers of the jungle, known in Brazil as caboclos. Their success in society was continued to some extent on rejecting their Indian heritage and adopting the civilizado ways. In '86, 60% of the population in Brazil was considered to retain the language, but now, in 2003, it is estimated to be closer to 40%. Those living in towns usually grow up with the dominant language being their first. English in Guyana, Portuguese in Brazil, and one dialect, Mapidian, is on the Brazilian and Guyana endangered list with less than 50 speakers. Another dialect, Amariba, may well be extinct. The outlook is not very good, even though they are not near the top of the endangered list. Now would be the time to do something to make a difference in the future. In rural settings, there are Wapixana monolingual speakers, but few. Over 80% speak the trade language, as well as other indigenous languages that they border with. For example, Makushi or Wai. On the Guyana side, a literacy project was established in conjunction with the organization Summer Institute of Linguistics. They helped community leaders by training literacy tutors. Their work was spearheaded by a native Wapixana who had been trained as a school teacher and became convinced of the importance of preserving and promoting his native language. The community leaders formed an advocacy group called Wapixana Literacy, but originally was called Wapichan Wadauninau Atiao. Currently, the culture provides for enculturation of the language. Most children learn at home. The literacy program is to teach them to read their own language with a further goal of learning to read English. Culture is not currently a print-oriented society. The literacy program is building a repertoire of books to be used in this endeavor, including a primer with 42 lessons to begin basic literacy. Whenever the first group of literacy tutors graduated, it was considered an historic moment. It was attended by the Chief of Chiefs of the Wapixana, as well as the Executive Director of Adult Education in Guyana. In Brazil, the Department of Education has provided for bilingual schools with the purpose of assimilation up through the first 6 years. However, even this provision is a little ambiguous, as many of the provisions and laws concerning the indigenous peoples of Brazil are still in a state of flux. The indigenous peoples are not required to attend school, on the one hand, according to FUNAI, the Fundación Nacional do Índio, or National Indian Foundation, but are free to live, quote, according to their customs and cultures. On the other hand, some schools are provided under the Department of Education, and these are located in the bigger towns. It is not clear to what extent citizens of the town are required to attend school. Also, in Boa Vista, cultural programs have designed courses in Wapixana to be provided to the community. This is under the auspices of the Federal University of Roraima and is part of their community outreach. These classes have been offered since 2007. Some interest is developing throughout the country. On college campuses, research projects on the language, culture, land rights, and other pertinent topics have been conducted through universities in places such as São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, and Rio Grande do Sul, etc. Dissertation and thesis projects have been completed within the last 5 years and are currently available. So while the official statistics are still in the red zone, 30% of ethnic Wapixana are completely fluent speakers, and there's good reason for us to hope that this can be maximized. The last census records showing some increase in claiming fluency, but these records still need to be verified by more ground research.